This is Smiley number 1, and this is Smiley number 2. And this is my old Smiley wearing a Superman shirt. Oh, Spider-Man shirt, sorry. And he's kind of old, you could see.
How old is he?
I think I got him when I was 8, so he's about 22 years old now. This one's pretty young. This one's about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years old. I remember when my dad saw this one, the look on his face was pretty funny. I think they couldn't believe I still had them. And my whole family knows about Smiley.
Would you say he's your prized possession?
Yeah, I think it's funny because we had a fire drill at the apartment I used to live in, and these were the only things I took with me. And my wedding rings. I didn't take anything else.
What's that thing on his neck?
This is a patch. I think I cut this from an old t-shirt and patched it on him. Because he is kind of falling apart.
Okay, so who do you think is most like Papa?
Well, I think, Natha's a lot like Papa just because she's a very aggressive person. A little domineering sometimes. And always wants to be in command of the room. I think there's a little bit of him in actually all of his children because I think all of us are very independent people, and I think my mom is actually pretty independent too. She'll go out late at night by herself, walk around the malls, and I think both of them are just very independent people and they don't want to rely on anybody. And I think all of their children are like that. I know certainly that I am. Paul's parents wanted to lend us money for the house, and I just didn't want to do that because it just goes against, they taught us to do things ourselves and do things for ourselves. And I just don't like to rely on anybody for anything. So I think my dad's also, he has a lot of drive in him to succeed. I think he passed that along to his children as well.
So who are you closest to in our family?
Who am I closest to? I'm closest to my sister Norn, and probably next to Norn is probably my mom. And, I think everybody else is, their family, but I don't tell things. And actually, even my mom, I try to tell her things about my relationship with Paul, and she didn't want to know. So, I think we're close in that, I know that she would do anything for me, and I would do anything for her. So, but we can't have girl talk or girl-like conversations like my sister and I can.
Who are you most distant from?
I'm probably the most distant from my sister Sue and probably my dad. My sister Sue, I don't talk to her anymore. So I wish we were closer. I wish I was closer to all of my family, and I know it takes work, and a lot of time when I don't get the response I want, then I just kind of turn away. And so yeah.
So you're saying that you're thinking about having 2 children. You want a boy or a girl?
I probably want one of both, one of each. I want one boy and one girl. I actually really wouldn't mind what kind of child I have because, having a girl is just so hard these days. I think I'm a little bit like my parents, and I'm always really afraid of kidnappings, and I think girls are just more prone to that. I know I shouldn't think that way because that happens 1 in a million, but I just feel like boys are safer. They just don't require as much worriness.
So, what would you want to name them? Have you thought about it?
Yes, I've actually thought about it because I have a Thai name, and it's always been very, even now, people in my profession will make comments about my name, which is very rude of them, but that's what happens. I think with lawyers, they kind of find any way to, poke fun at the opposing counsel. So, unfortunately, it's easier to have like an easy name. So, I think I definitely want to give my children Thai names or Chinese names. Um, but I think that would be their middle name, and their first name would be an American name. And, because Paul's family is so religious, I think there's something very, beautiful about having a name from the Bible, like a very old name. Um, Maybe something meaningful, like the name of a saint. Paul's named after two saints. I think all of his family um, have names from the Bible. And I actually really like the name Francis, and I think we might name our boy Francis if we have a son.
So, how do you feel about your own name, notwithstanding the lawyers?
Well, I have to say I'm glad I have this name because, it's a unique name. I think if I didn't have the name Newt, I probably wouldn't have changed my married name. Um, like, say, if my name were Jane Kitty Axworn, I wouldn't have changed it to Jane Stapleton because then that takes away all of, my background and where I come from. I think the fact that I still have the name Newt in front of Stapleton indicates that, there's something, indicates my background a little bit. Some of my colleagues have, you know, like Korean first names, and they've actually changed it very late in life while they're in law school, while they're working at a law firm, to an American name just to make it easier. And I can see that, but it's very sad and it's very unfortunate. But I definitely want to give the children Asian names for their middle names, either a Thai name or a Chinese name, maybe even both.
Well, this segs right into my American versus Thai Chinese heritage section. What nationality do you consider yourself?
I consider myself probably more of a Thai American than a Chinese American.
And what do you feel most? Do you feel more American, Thai, or Chinese out of the three?
I probably feel more American than I feel Thai or Chinese. When I visited Thailand, um, when I'm there, I feel like I'm part of my countrymen. And when I, on my last trip when I was with Paul and I spoke Thai, even though I speak Thai not very well at all, and Paul doesn't speak any Thai, I just felt an instant connection to people just because I spoke their language. Um, I think that's probably why when I went to Hong Kong, I felt nothing in common with the people there because I didn't speak any Chinese. It was so foreign to me, and the people weren't very friendly. So, except I have family there and they were very friendly, but Chinese people in general weren't very friendly. And I think part of the reason was because I didn't speak their language. I wish we had learned how to speak Chinese when we were younger.
Papa wishes that too. Yeah, I mean, Papa talks about something called the Chinese mind versus the American mind. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Um, you know, it's funny because whenever, with all of my previous boyfriends, I could see what my dad was saying because, um, I would tell them about how I wanted to take care of my family and,
They're Asian.
no, I think all of them were Caucasian. And I would even someone like Paul, I would tell him and he would say, well, why do you want to do that? I mean, they take care of themselves. You don't have to take care of your parents. And, I think part of the Chinese mind is that